Oh, hey there. Hi, I'm just creating knots. Knots. Knots are great in cord, but not so great in your muscle. That's a picture of muscle. This article by Allison Denny talks about the anatomy of a trigger point. And this is soft tissue, a picture of soft tissue right there. It doesn't really look like this, but you can see, even in this cotton cord, the cotton fibers run in a specific direction. And they are all interwoven and interlaced. Very similar to this picture right here. You can find this article in Massage and Bodywork, August, July of 2023, this issue of this magazine from ABMP. This, knots, great in cording, not so great in our muscles, right? So, how do you undo these knots? It's not so easy to undo knots. Just like this. In cording, it might be a little easy. But how do we get rid of knots in our muscles? What are knots anyway? Actually, muscle fiber does not knot like this. It does not do this kind of action to create this kind of pretzel. That doesn't happen. Knots in our back, it's just not a thing. Or, arm, neck, low back, hamstring, quads, calves, whatever. If you get a Charlie horse, what's a Charlie horse? It's a spasm. It's an irritability within a muscle fiber. So a trigger point is the same thing. What's a trigger point? It's an irritability within a muscle fiber. In this cord, in this cotton cording, there are lots and lots of fibers. We take the whole thing and we knot it up. Now, in a muscle, that's not what happens. In a muscle, all these individual fibers right here, they do not disconnect. Where is it? They do not disconnect from one another to knot up, just like I tied a shoelace or tied a cord. That doesn't happen. So what does happen inside of these fibers then? They can get stuck together is what can happen. They can get, kind of like bound up and stuck and then not work efficiently. So muscles are supposed to work like a piston in a car, back and forth to create power, to create movement in our bodies. Just like in a vehicle, pistons create power to propel the car or vehicle forward or backwards, but in a linear direction. Same with muscle. It works in a linear direction. And when it gets stuck and tight and bound together, it doesn't actually like knot up like this, but it does get stuck and tight. And so that can, or it can get inflamed. So the area around it can become, full of inflammation, which is all kinds of maybe like extra fluids, gets into that area and it just binds efficiency. So the muscles do not work efficient anymore. And then you get pain signals. So pain signals go to the brain and say, hey, something's going on back there. Fix it, protect it. And then that's when we get that pain tension cycle. So then we tighten up and then the brain says, hey, it hurts. Or the muscles say, hey, it hurts, sends a message to the brain. And the brain says, well, tighten up. And so, yeah. So then we have this pain feedback loop. But how do you get rid of that? How do you get rid of these knots? How do you stress less? How do you go to the beach and just chill out, right? So massage is one way to do that. There are many different ways for stress relief or to get rid of, pain in muscle, and it depends on what's going on in your muscle. And you may need medical intervention. Depends on how, traumatic an event that happened, that it would cause a tear or a rupture or some kind of, blunt force trauma or some kind of even stress, prolonged stress over time can cause muscles to become tight. So there's a lot of different reasons why muscles become painful in the first place. And then there's a lot of different remedies for that. But if you need medical attention, seek medical attention. And then there's a bunch of different modalities that even massage therapists can do. So if you're unsure, if it's really painful, talk to a doctor. But if you've had this pain before and you know what it is, maybe you can seek massage to help just relax a little bit. Maybe it's just from tension or overuse injury from a work or a workout, or even a play session maybe over the weekend. You're, golfing or baseball or something. That can happen as well. Pain can happen from that. Even next day muscle soreness. So check it out with your doc, and then see what you can do with a massage therapist if that is indicated. But yes, muscles do not create knots like rope does. So stay tuned. If you have questions, leave a comment. Leave your questions in the comments below. I'm happy to answer any, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.